I'm Val the Realtor, and today I'm going to talk to you about condos. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about condos out there. So first, I want to start by explaining what a condo is. A condo essentially is like a club of people that are getting together to live in a common ground, common residence of some sort. So when you buy into a condominium, it's like you're joining a club and you're going to become a member and you're going to have monthly membership dues. That's the best analogy. But condos can come in all different styles of construction. They can be an apartment, they can be a townhouse, and sometimes they can be a regular old house on bare land that you would never suspect is a condo. So condos can be any form of construction style. The one common denominator every condominium has is there's a monthly fee. Occasionally it's an annual fee, but 99% of the time it's a monthly fee. So not all monthly fees are created equal. Some include utilities, some include use of a pool, a gym, fitness facility, or path system, an exclusive pergola and clubhouse, and others, they're just covering your elevator and your parkade. So the first thing you need to do when looking at condominiums is decide what you want included in your home. So all condominiums will have what we call condo docs for short, but that's all the paperwork that comes with owning a condominium and running a complex. When you purchase a condo, it's very important that you obtain a full set of these documents and that you actually read them. And I know they can be a little bit of a snooze fest. You can hire someone to review the condo docs for you and give you the Coles Notes version, but I do recommend every homeowner read the bylaws, understand can you have pets, can you renovate, can you rent out your unit, can you use it as an Airbnb, are you allowed to smoke cannabis on your balcony or inside your unit? These are things that will be encompassed in the bylaws. The other thing you should look at is the financial statements. And not all of us look at even our bank statements, but it is very important you understand where your condo money is going, what it pays for, what the overhead and operation costs are, and how much is being saved every month to go towards the big capitalized costs like the roof, the parkade, windows if they're included, and that kind of thing. So sometimes there's a little bit more work in getting into a condo, but in the end there's a lot less work when you're living there because it's being run as a community and usually you have a property manager that's overseeing everything. I get a lot of questions about condos, so I'm going to just rapid fire through them. What about my dog? Can I have my Doberman? Well, a lot of condominiums have restrictions on the size of your pet. So if Rufus is over 20 pounds or more than 11 inches tall at the shoulder, you might have to look at a different complex. Most of the apartments want a smaller dog. Do I get my reserve fund contributions back? No, 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 no. That money belongs to the condominium corporation and is actually making your unit worth a little bit more because you have invested in the future of capitalized costs. Can I renovate? You can do anything inside your unit you like as long as you get permission from the board. And it seems a little bit backwards because you own the inside and you have exclusive use of it, but it's because you're living in a community. And the people downstairs may not want to hear you jackhammering and adding another bathroom, or the renovations that you're doing may cause water damage downstairs. So always ask for permission first and make sure you get it in writing. A lot of people say, hey, my board president lives next door, I'll just run it by her. No, 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 no. You need to formally apply to the property manager or the board, depending on who it is that you're required to go through for that particular complex, and make sure you receive full permissions and any stipulations in writing before you start cracking grounds in your unit. I get a lot of questions about bike storage, for example. Some complexes have modernized and they've allowed for bike lockers in the parkade. Some have the outside bikes storage where you lock it up. Some people are still hauling them up the stairs and sticking them on their balcony, which doesn't really look very good, but as long as it's permissible in the bylaws, you can store your bike on your balcony. I also get questions about cannabis. And most complexes will allow it as long as you're inside the unit and you're following the same guidelines as you would with alcohol. I also get questions about Airbnb. Airbnb is twofold. Some people want to just rent one of their bedrooms in their place or their basement. for short term, especially during Stampede. We all want to capitalize on Stampede. So sometimes you can, if you're in the residence already, then yes, usually you can rent it out as an Airbnb and it doesn't have to be stipulated in the bylaws. However, if you're not going to be there, if you're taking off for 2 weeks and you want to rent your place for Airbnb during Stampede, you might want to check your bylaws or run it by your board. It's considered short-term tourist accommodations. It doesn't fall inside the zoning of a regular condo. So unless it specifically says you can have short-term rental, you might not be allowed to do Airbnb. So if that's critical for you to have that income, you might want to check that out and get it in permission prior to purchasing the condo. Do you want me to give you some funny condo stories?
Sure.
Well, we've had, I don't even know. My client owned the condo and they had rented it to a teacher and her aunt. And they were repeatedly complaining about noise because in most wood frame structures, noise travels vertically. So everybody's always worried about their neighbors, but it's actually the people above and below you that you hear the most in these condos. Anyway, the more they complained about this upstairs neighbor, the louder he proceeded to be. And he would bring home women from the bar and they would be doing some pretty loud pornographic activity and wake up my poor kindergarten teacher and her aunt that lived in this condo. It just got a little bit nasty. So noise is probably the biggest thing that I hear about from some of my condo owners. I've also had the kids. Kids in apartments don't necessarily go together. If it's a concrete building, sure, but sometimes in townhouses, you see the kids, they spill out into other people's property. In the apartments, they can be throwing Lego off their balcony. I've heard all kinds of different stories, and I just try and remind myself they're kids. Kids will be kids. But in condominium living, that can infringe on the lifestyle and peaceful well-being of some of the residents in the community. So we are always aware when looking at condos, we want to make sure you're matching the community that you're going to join. So some complexes are known for having lots of kids and they might even have a playground in the middle. That is a much better fit than putting them into, say, a concrete building down in the Beltline. Seriously, I do have some good condo stories. So I've been through some buildings where they have contests to decorate the door at Christmas, at Easter, and some of them put out
like
little
a college
candies.
dorm?
Like a college dorm, and it's they put out little treats and stuff. As realtors, we love it. We love to see the pride of ownership and see the distinction between each door that kind of gives an indication of what that person's like that lives there. I've been to some condominiums that they actually have an engraved little slip that goes into this wood slot on their door that has their name of the family that lives there, which is kind of nice so that you can get to know your residents and they're not just Suite 11B. You know, they actually have a name. I've seen where people put out a community garden out in the parking lot. They've had a raised planter built around a space and they share in a community garden. So there are lots of benefits to condominium living, and probably the single biggest benefit in the winter, as we're in the winter now in Calgary, Alberta, is you do not have to do any snow removal. Most condominiums, whether they're bare land, townhouse, apartment, or otherwise, your snow removal is completely covered by your condo fees. So you just get up in the morning and get in your car and you drive to work. You don't have to worry about any kind of shoveling, any kind of salting or de-icing. So that's a huge benefit. And for people who like to travel, you can just lock and go and you don't need to worry about a thing. So there's lots of benefits to condominium living.
Do you just not have anything else to say?
Included in your home, period. I'm so used to dictating to my phone.